In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to raise meat chickens in about 5 minutes. Not precisely, but around 5 minutes. So let's get into this video, guys. Now we're going to start by talking about selecting that perfect chicken breed. Now there's obviously a couple you can go with. Most people go with the Cornish hens, which are usually those white meat chickens. You know, the ones that just about everybody uses either for stock footage or really for anything else. But for us personally, we used Freedom Rangers as they're a bit more friendly. They have a bit more of a hands-on experience, but I'll get into more of like what you should do with them in the next clip. But yeah, you want to make sure you're selecting the right breed. You can get a mixture of both. I personally found Freedom Rangers to be way easier to work with though, so that's pretty much my personal experience with these chickens. Be sure to comment down below if you've had these before and which ones you'd likely choose. So yeah. Now this is a rule I want everyone to take note of, so if you're watching this video, maybe taking some notes, maybe this is one I want you to include in big text. Don't name the chickens. Some of them only live for like 5 or 6 weeks. Here's a general tip. As I just said, don't name those chickens, man, because if you do, you'll be really disappointed when you have to slaughter a chicken named, I don't know, Cute Chicken 63. So, yeah, make sure you don't name them. That's a general rule of thumb, but obviously name the egg layers if you need to. Now we're going to begin talking about brooder life. So when they're in the brooder, you're going to realize they're going to grow up way faster than egg layers if you've had egg layers before. Don't be afraid if by the first week they're about as big as your egg layers are at like 5 weeks. Because those chickens are bred to grow up fast. Specifically for the reason why they're here, basically. So this is one thing I want you to take note of with these little chickies, is that they will grow up fast. So if you want those cute chicken videos or stuff like that, film them for the first like 3 days. That's before they begin their phase of like rapid growth. And there you go, you got your chickens. And the brooder life, I want you to keep them in there for around maybe 2 to 3 weeks, or around the time when the temperature gets warm out. Now instead of dropping the brooder by 5 degrees every week like you do with the chickens, or 1 degree every day like you do with the ducks, which is equating for about 7 degrees every week, you want to drop the brooder temperature by about 5 degrees every day, starting on day 3, because that's when their feather development will gradually begin to pile in, and there you go, you got some happy little baby chickens. And the next part of this video will teach you what about chicken coops you're going to need for these types of chickens, because they're going to need different needs. Have you ever heard of a hoop coop before? Well, if you haven't, I'm going to explain it to you, but if you have, this should be basically like me reteaching everything you're going to need to know about them. They're obviously mounted on the ground, and they have the capability of moving very quickly, and the chickens can easily adapt to move with them. So it's very light on the ground, typically around maybe 90 to 175 pounds. However, sometimes they're way heavier than that. Usually they can be even moved by the hand. Now inside, it's basically like the outside, except with a little bit of a tarp over the top. The inside gets a long roosting bar, and behind that roosting bar is usually a feeder to help feed the chickens. You'll also get access to grass, and it'll help them move about every other day. Gradually move them, and they will typically move along with it because they don't want. And don't worry, if one gets caught in the back, you could just push it back just a little bit to help save the chicken. It won't like really badly scar them, don't worry. And just a quick reminder that when you're outside and you have a hoop coop, you're going to want to take the tires off of it, or else what's going to end up happening, or else it's going to repeat what happened to one of our black sex-linked chickens, and she passed away because of a fox attack. By this point, about 7 to 11, maybe possibly even 12 weeks have passed, and now it's time to do the unthinkable. It's time to begin butchering the chickens. Usually you take specific tools. I'm not really going to go through it because that will take less than 53 seconds. That'll take more than 53 seconds to explain. I only have 53 more seconds to make this clip, so yeah. There won't be, if you want a separate video, be sure to tell me in the comments below about that, but be sure to document how well your journey went right at the end. Was it hard to say goodbye? Or usually you don't really spend a lot of time with this. So when this happened, it wasn't really a big impact for me personally, but for other people it might be. So now, with about 10 seconds left, I'd like to remind you to click the video on the screen. It's my second iteration of how to raise egg chickens, okay? If you found this video a little bit depressing, that video will cheer you up a little bit. Anyways, I'm out. Subscribe. 1 more second to go.